What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Opposition Views. I have got the one, the only, the Pear. How you going, mates?
Good, Lukey. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. We've been chatting for a while, and I finally got you on. And yeah, thank you for joining me.
Nah, it's a pleasure, mate. It's good to be on. I'm looking forward to chat. What's going to be a massive game this
And
week. I'm looking forward to it.
it should be good. Just stand up for a second. I didn't know you were. Are you a Collingwood supporter as well? Oh, look, me too. So actually, I'm actually turning to the Collingwood supporter, the Pear today, which is absolutely amazing. But no, look, how is it? How is it all going, mate? How are you? How are you traveling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think coming into last week was a bit of a, I don't know, it was kind of an edgy experience as a Port fan because pre-season was absolutely, I'm going to be honest, trash. Like we just looked awful. I don't think we had any momentum at all. And to put a performance in like we did against the Lions, I think has settled quite a lot of nerves and expectations have now been put back on track. And I think overall we're pretty comfortable with how we feel. I just hope
Yep.
that last week's performance is a one-off, and then we come out this week and lose by 10 goals.
Yeah, yeah, bloody hell. I'd love that, but I know you won't. But look, we'll touch on the game a little bit later from last week. But just before we do, it wasn't even just a typical sort of win. It was a resounding sort of win against the team that people had, premiership favourites and top two finishes.
Yeah, definitely. I think the two things that have caused us a lot of grief over the years is the credibility of beating top four, top eight teams when we've been running pretty hot. And also the way we entered inside 50 was just something I've never seen us do like ever. Like, we're always bombing it in or it's just incomplete when we go through in through the motions. So I think the way that we move the footy and just generally look like we're having fun. Like I haven't experienced that kind of footy from us since we started with Ken in 2013, 2014. So it was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping we can replicate that every single week.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, man. Look, I guess we'll start like what I did last week with Anna, just about your love for Port Adelaide, where it came from, a little bit about your channel and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I've been a Fort fan pretty much, obviously, my whole life. Probably started around that 2002, 3, 4 era where we were making prelims, losing to the Pies in prelims, and obviously winning the flag against Brisbane. I think that was the kind of the day. It sounds pretty cliche that, oh, we saw a flag and all of a sudden fell in love. But generally, that was the day. Like, I think seeing my dad happy and uncles and aunties and everyone just getting together was sort of like the connection for me. I was 8 years old. So then 2005, went to my first ever game. We lost to Geelong. Treaders kicked 5, and I fell in love with Treaders. Warren Treadray, for those that don't know, one of the best centre half forwards ever to play the game.
Definitely.
And then, yeah, from there, just fell in love, went through the pain of '07, the pain of '08 through to 13, the years with Matthew Primus and all of that. And somehow still stuck there. In 2013 came along Ken Inkley and Trav Boak became captain. And I think from there, it built even more. The fact of what we've been through, my love for the club built even more. And 2017 came along, and that's when we started the channel. It was just a generic idea. It was a failure of a uni degree that I did for 2 years. I thought, well, I've got to find something else to do. And why not talk about Port Adelaide? There's something I love the most. And yeah, started out as something that I thought, well, this is just going to be fun, won't grow into anything. And surprisingly, still to this day, still doing it, still loving it, still coming up with ideas. And you can speak for yourself on it, but it's generally one of the best communities to be a part of is the
Yes.
footy community. And, we've seen with countless other amount of AFL YouTubers gone on to do bigger and better things. And I think, yourself included, we're all becoming a community that's growing. And I think that's what is keeping us passionate. And that's why I still do it. Like, it's so much fun. And we get to ride the emotions every single week of being absolute winners or absolute losers.
Yeah, and look, it's honestly a credit to you. When I started back in 2019, I didn't even know anything like this sort of existed, and then I see then Blue Abroad, and then I was pretty early on to getting introduced to you and what you were doing across there. So you were honestly a big inspiration for what Swoop Luke has sort of grown into. But look, you talked about the pain of losing prelims and stuff, and that sort of thing. I feel anyway, it just makes every little win sweeter, and you kind of go through all of that. And like you said, the pain of a bad sort of preseason, only to see you guys just absolutely pummel Brisbane. It kind of makes everything worth it, and you can come on to your channel, and everyone is just G'd up, and it's such a good feeling.
Yeah, 100%. That's the most satisfaction I felt after a win in such a long time was, and I'm not going to be cocky or anything, but I did say all week that we were going to win, and I was just
Nothing, man. It's
so
all good.
happy that that feeling pulled off.
Yeah.
That I was actually there. I was like, I was right. I was telling you. I said all week we're going to win. But just the resounding factor of even people that are just not into so much with, they don't have as much love for the club at the moment with, with Ken and everything. For that win to happen sort of opened everyone's eyes a little bit. And I think that's what created such a special effect that for that win to be so good, not because it was 54 points and
Yeah.
because we pumped the Lions, but because we actually went out there, won round one, and we're not going to be 0-5 this year.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's always good to get off to a round one start. We know that more better than half the other teams anyway. But look, I think the natural progression of this chat is going to be, of course, the prison bars. It's no one else gives us stuff except for Collingwood and Port Adelaide supporters. And I don't want to get too much into it. I just really want to get your sort of quick thoughts, because we could talk about this for hours if we wanted to. But look, it's rare that I get a Port Adelaide supporter on for a chat. So look, just lay it down on me. What's up?
Well, look, I love the passion. Like, I love seeing the back and forth. Sometimes it gets nasty, and I'm like, it doesn't really have to get to that point. Like, it's at the end of the day, it is just a Guernsey, and I get that argument. But at the same time, if it means so much to someone, like just anything in life, if something means so much to someone, I don't understand how other people can go out and affect that for them.
Yeah.
I know black and white is colours, and definitely wouldn't want to, wear that against Collingwood. I just think with the history, and we've seen so many heritage Guernseys. We've got Freo with the big anchor. Sydney get to wear their South Melbourne Guernsey pretty much every year anyway. I don't understand how there's an argument against wearing a Guernsey for a club in one game for a year.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just pushing the boundaries of too controlling. I think obviously Eddie and Koshi have had their back and forths throughout the years, which has been very, very fun to watch.
It has been, definitely.
But I think, for me, I love the passion it brings. It means so much to Port Adelaide supporters, and for us to wear it once a year, I think I'm more than comfortable with, especially in the showdown, because at the end of the day, we come back and forth, Collingwood, Port, rivalries. We've got this other mob in this town
100%.
that literally they're so annoying. Like, they're little pests. For us to wear this against them and hopefully pump them by 10 goals, it would be that much more special. The other thing as well is, I don't know if you agree, but the argument and the general care that both clubs have against this Guernsey has created such an atmosphere around it that it's become so iconic even more. And that's what football's about. It has a feeling. It has a moment. It has a meaning to it. And every club should have that with the Guernsey. And that's why I love it. Like, that's why it should be worn. Like, not because it counteracts with other colours and other teams, and because it has something behind it.
So I guess, and you raise, really good points, and that's what you said when you said, if someone loves something so much, how can anyone sort of deny them that, or make fun or whatever it may be? And I 100% agree. I see it every day on Twitter and stuff like that. So I 100% agree. I guess where I'm sort of coming from is two things. This wasn't the first jersey that Port Adelaide ever wore, right? The second thing was, and look, I'm not really up to date with the contracts and when you guys came into the AFL and blah blah blah. But I guess the second thing was you guys seceded from the Port Adelaide Magpies, but now with this Port Adelaide Magpie jersey, not only is it black and white, but now your merchandise also has the Port Adelaide Magpie on it. So at the MCG, when there's 65,000 that I'm guessing there's going to be, it's just going to be a sea of. I know that Port fans are going to wear the black and white jersey, and I know that there's going to be the Magpie. It's just going to be, to me, it's a little bit weird. It's like having the Tasmanian Tigers and the Richmond Tigers.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. I think that aspect of it definitely probably has a two-sided argument to it, and I think overall, I agree. I love seeing colour in the crowd in general. Like our teal, I still love our teal. I think our teal
Yeah,
is one of the best colours in the
definitely.
AFL in general, just because it stands out. Like something that stands out is just so aesthetically pleasing when
Yep.
watching a game of football. And you'll still see the teal flags there on Saturday. I just think, yeah, if it is funny that we're both going to be wearing different types of black and white, and we're just all standing there. Um, that's what the funny. I find that generally funny. Like if
Very
you walk
good.
into somewhere and you're like, "Oh, well, I like this wrestler, but I like that wrestler, but they're twins."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, what's going on here? So I think overall, yeah, I definitely understand that, and I to an extent agree. But if it's like I'm not on the field, then I'm all for it. Like
Yeah,
anyone can wear whatever they want. I think
100%.
that's just the
Yeah.
prime time thing.
No, fair enough. Look, let's get into the crux of why we're chatting today. It is a huge game, and I said in my preview that I didn't really have this down for. It's always a good game as we're Collingwood to Port. I didn't have this down as a sort of blockbuster game for us, but this is just from round one to what it did to round two. This game is just absolutely huge, and like I said, I reckon there's going to be easily 65,000. I was struggling to get tickets for friends for general admin, so it is going to be a really big game. How do you? And I know you're a big Billy Frampton fan, so how do you see it all playing out?
Yeah, look, that's quite funny. When we had Billy, there was all this feeling of, oh, Billy's got to play full forward. We don't have a response. This was when Charlie Dixon was injured. We need someone up there. Get Billy in. And I think we all came to the realization that getting Billy in wasn't the greatest thing. And then we moved him on to the Crows, played that game last year where the Crows won after the siren. And he played on Todd Marshall and he kicked 5 on him. So I find that funny that he's now playing this weekend, probably up against Todd Marshall,
Yeah,
because Darcy Moore, I would think, would take
yeah,
Charlie Dixon.
yeah,
Or it could swap. Like that could be. I still think now the switch has happened. Todd Marshall's our number one forward. I wouldn't blame Fly for playing Darcy Moore on Todd Marshall because he'll be there full time. Dixon will go into the ruck.
yeah, yeah,
So that might help Billy going through there. But yeah, as you said, like this game has been pumped up more than it should be. Like, why the hell is Port Adelaide Collingwood playing on a 1:45 afternoon time slot? They're going to have
yeah.
65,000 there. Never in my wildest dreams. I'm very much looking forward to it. I think, obviously, with the prison bars, the agreement was that both clubs would pump this game up massively.
Yep.
It's worked because there are a lot of Port fans coming over for this
Oh,
game
wow.
as well. That one of the reasons I've come over was to come to this game. It's going to be absolutely massive. We've had a lot of good games at the G.
We have.
Last year's
Yeah,
game was a ripper. The year before, again, I think it was the day that it was like 50 points each, and we won by a point. It was one
yep,
of the worst
yep.
games of football I've seen.
It was atrocious that game.
Um,
I was there. Yeah, so bad.
so we have that at the G. I love the G. I love playing Collingwood at the G. I think it's one of the best things to do in the world. So I don't know about you, but this game means more to them in round one. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, look, it does have a bit of extra flair to it. Like round one, obviously for us versus the premiers, they were the benchmark of the competition. We put 125 points sort of past them. And now with this Port Adelaide, it has that extra. It's always going to be spicy with the sort of prison bars. And I know we shouldn't be basing how good a game's going to be off jerseys because that's silly. But it's you guys, just like I said, pummeling Brisbane. Putting. I think you guys kicked the highest score for round one last week, if,
So
if
yeah,
memory serves. And now just coming up against Collingwood, and we're both sort of playing that fast, attacking, exciting football. Like you said, you guys aren't bombing it into. I watched the match before my did my preview, and you guys, yeah, like you said, aren't bombing it into it. You guys are running. Jason Horn-Francis, Connor Rosie, Zach Butters. You've got this electrifying middle, and it's not going to be like last week's games at all. It is going to be a really close, hard fought win for either side, which way it goes. It's pretty much a coin flip, in my opinion.
yeah, I completely agree. I will let you know I do have the same feeling I did last week for Brisbane this week. So when I'm right,
Naturally,
I'm right. But
naturally.
um, no, the midfield's probably match up really well in terms of youth and I think experience. Ollie Wines obviously in there. Boak's probably going to be the sub, which is very weird to say.
Yeah.
and it really hurt me, to be honest.
I know
But
you're a
the
big
way we
fan.
played across, yeah, he's a good man, Trump. Um, the way we played across half back was the thing for me. I know I mentioned inside 50s and Horn Francis delivering it on a plate and stuff like that, but the way we played across half back was something we've actually never done, and it was direct. It was through the corridor. It was play on at all costs, quick hands. It was something dynamically different that Ken's never done before, and it caught Brisbane off guard. I do think Collingwood will have a little bit more sounded when it comes to us, but honestly, Swoop, I think this game's going to be both teams over 100 points. This is going to be all out flood.
Really?
I honestly think it's just going to be an all out attack. We'll see. Like Darcy Cameron might even kick 5. Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of game I'm
Yeah.
expecting. So if we get that on Saturday with 65,000 people in a close result, footy's well and truly good.
I didn't even think of that sort of as being an option, but two teams over 100 points in this sort of era of football would be absolutely huge. And who else but us to sort of do that? What do you think? Where do you think this sort of game is going to be won? You've seen how we play. We were playing it most of last year as well. If you guys were to win, what do you see being the biggest sticking point?
Us kicking straight.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. We kicked 18-18 last week, and we should have probably won by more. If we're kicking, it sounds cliche, but if we kick straight, we're going to get the opportunities. We always provide plenty of opportunities for ourselves. We'll probably be decent in the midfield. I think Lysette and Cameron's going to be a good matchup. Cox will obviously run through there as well, and Dixon for us. So I think that it's going to be fairly even. The other thing I would probably mention is polish. Collingwood have a very good skill set. I think they move the ball quite well and hit targets. Like that's the polish that we probably lacked. And I know we had that last week, but I think this game is going to have another bit of pressure element to it. So if we get some polish going and go inside 50 like we did last week, we'll get those chances. And if we kick straight, we're going to be within a shot. I'm not going to say we're going to win by doing that because other factors will come into it, but we'll give ourselves a chance if either team kicks straight. Like if someone goes into 3/4 time and it's 10 goals 13 and 13 goals 7, there's your game. Like that, it's just one of the most cliche things in football, but it hurts you.
Well, look at last week. Geelong went at 1 point 16 goals won. Like it's just, and we had more scoring shots than them, but they were able to put that much on the board. But you talked about going into 3/4 time. Is there a sort of, as an opposition supporter going up against Collingwood, is there a sort of a fear that even if you're 25 points up, even if you're 5 goals up, that we will never stop coming until the final siren? Like kind of like what happened last year.
Oh, 100%. And that's not just because it's Collingwood. It's because I'm a Port fan. Well, we are. The anxiety at 3/4 time. I have this rule in my head. I don't know if other supporters do it and yourself either, but if there's a team that's over 40 points, I consider them home at 3/4 time. Anything under that, I'm scared shitless. Like it genuinely gives me anxiety. And because it's Collingwood as well this week, I think the interesting stat I know is if Ken Hinkley has a team that's 24 points or more up, so if we're up by 24 points or more, there's a 90% win rate.
Oh, wow.
At winning games. So, yeah, look, to say it, Collingwood scare me when it comes to being within that bracket of never giving up. And I wouldn't be surprised if you rolled us after 3/4 time, but yeah, I feel like it's not over till there's 2 minutes to go and we're 5 goals up. But I think that's every single fan in the AFL. But it does scare me, and because they were so good at winning the close games, and we were one of those last year.
Yep.
I think some people are expecting it to fall off this year. I think going by last week, it definitely doesn't look like it's going to be. So, I mean, fingers crossed that we just hold on for dear life. That's all.
That's all you want.
That's all I'm saying.
Look, Pear, it's been an amazing chat, amazing opportunity to have you on, and I appreciate it. Also, I should mention that we had a little bit of fun this morning on SEN. At 6:40, I woke up so early. I don't even wake up that early for work. It just absolutely wrecked me. Had to drive 10 minutes down the road to get reception because reception here is so spotty. Had a little bit of fun with Kingy and Cornsey. It'll be on Spotify soon. I'll put the links down below. But that was a good opportunity as well. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Look, I woke up at 6:30 and I was hungover. I'm not going to lie to you. I was hungover. Being in Melbourne, you obviously went to the footy for Geelong and Carlton, which was a ripper game, and just woke up after 3 hours sleep. I was sitting in the hallway just so I didn't wake up my friend, just dazing. Like I was like, call me, please. But that was a great fun, good experience. Kingy definitely favoured you, which was more than fair. We both had some very, very good arguments, and it was quite funny. So
it was good. It was really good. I'll post it up on all my social medias. But look, Pep, before I let you go, firstly, your big prediction and your winning margin, and secondly, where can we check you out?
Port Adelaide by 8 points. Todd Marshall to kick 8.
Jesus
Thanks to Billy Frampton.
Far out, and
Big prediction.
I've got Collingwood by, what did I say? I think I said Collingwood by 15, and I got Billy Frampton keeping Todd Marshall to 0. So that's just we may as well. Pear, where can we find you, mate?
You can find me on YouTube at the Pear. It's quite simple, one word, the Pear, and also on Twitter at Anthony Alessiani. Catch me talking all things Port Adelaide, particularly on Saturday when I'm going to be anxiety riddled and tweeting nonsense.
Can't wait, mate. Can't wait. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Have a good rest of the day, and don't have a good weekend.
Thanks, mate. I hope you enjoy your loss.
See you, bud. Bye.